And we are live. Hello. I am Storm Team Meteorologist Griffin Hardy. Good Monday evening, everyone. We've been talking about it all afternoon on the newscasts, and now we're going to talk about it on Facebook Live. This chance for severe weather across central Alabama that'll be rolling in on Wednesday. Give everybody a second to get tuned in here. It's pretty noteworthy. We have a really good setup, severe weather-wise, for Wednesday, and that will prompt a risk for all modes of severe weather. So that includes potentially some damaging wind gusts, possibly some large hail, and possibly, could be looking at some tornadoes heading into Wednesday, especially Wednesday night. So we'll talk about the timing. We'll talk about where the most likely area for those strongest storms is going to be. Let me just make sure that our connection's okay. Make sure everybody can hear me all right. The looks like this Facebook Live interface is a little bit slow tonight. Usually there's an image of me that pops up. I'll give it a second to kind of get settled here so everybody can get tuned in and whatnot. But anyways, while it does that, I'll go ahead and start talking about the forecast. All right, so main thing, with at least the main window for severe weather is basically going to be all day Wednesday. What'll happen is we'll have a warm front that steadily lifts over the area all day long, and that'll prompt multiple rounds of severe weather, potentially. The first round of storms will be kind of early in the day, Wednesday, and that'll be along and just north of the warm front. Some of those storms could turn severe, but they're not likely to generate tornadoes. That really won't happen where we potentially see tornadic storms until late Wednesday night. All the storms that we see tonight, though, and for most of the day tomorrow, they're not going to be severe, so we don't have to worry about those. Okay, now we got some people tuning in. Looks like people from Montevallo, Lee County, Coleman County. Excellent. Okay, so let's dive into it. So here's the severe weather outlook for tonight and tomorrow. Not especially worried about anything too crazy for tonight or tomorrow. If you do see anything, it's just going to be heavy rain, brief gusty winds. It'll be just another messy day tomorrow with waves of heavy rain all day long. And tornadoes not likely with this setup, so we don't have to worry about that. But Wednesday, that of course changes. Here's the severe weather outlook for Wednesday. This will be updated late tonight when we wake up early tomorrow morning. This will probably be refined a little bit, but this is the latest outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. Has central Alabama at a 3 out of 5 risk. And that continues westward over into North Mississippi, far western Tennessee, and as far west as Arkansas. All up and down the Mississippi River is going to be that main, most favorable area for severe weather on Wednesday. And that includes, again, all of central Alabama. And we're talking about potentially some golf ball-sized hail that could be falling. Even with the storms that form early in the day along the warm front, there could be definitely some hail in that. So that's certainly a possibility. And let's talk a little bit about what's happening now. All these storms that you see popping up as of right now in Jefferson County, these are non-severe. We don't have to worry about that. What's happening is there's another system farther off to the north that's producing enough lift in the atmosphere for these storms to pop up. But again, these are not severe. Just a lot of scattered showers out there tonight. One little lightning strike there up towards Aniana that just popped up in the past 15 minutes over towards Allgood and Aniana. They're getting some heavy rain there. Anniston seeing some showers the past few hours. Rain's briefly heavy at times, but you see here, just based on the radar presentation, none of these storms are very organized. So that's some good news. And again, some more pop-up showers starting to spring up here in Jefferson County. So let's take you through the future cast. This is what we'll be looking at next 48 hours. When you head out the door early tomorrow morning, essentially just more of the same. Radar should look a lot like what it looks like right now. Nothing too much to worry about. But it's still going to get pretty heavy later in the morning. By 10 a.m., big cluster of storms popping up there. Tuscaloosa to Talladega. This is not severe, though. Still not enough lift in the atmosphere for us to worry about that. Then we continue into Tuesday afternoon. Again, just more of the same. Heavy rain, if anything. But after midnight Wednesday, this is when the warm front starts to come into play. And what the warm front really means is that everything south of the warm front is where all of the Gulf moisture is. And that's one key ingredient that you really need for thunderstorms. I should clarify that. I mean, there's Gulf moisture out ahead of the warm front, but any storms that form north of the warm front are elevated thunderstorms. And in order to have tornadoes, you need surface-based thunderstorms, and those will only form south of the warm front. So elevated thunderstorms can still be severe, and that's what we'll see Wednesday morning and early Wednesday afternoon. Those elevated storms, they can still produce damaging winds and hail, but elevated storms cannot produce tornadoes by their nature because tornadoes are a form of surface-based rotation. It stretches all the way down to the ground. So that won't come until late Wednesday. There may be a little bit of a lull in the action as the warm front actually passes through. Storms will be kind of popping up just north of that. Here's 3 p.m., still looking at elevated storms north of that front, but once it fully lifts through the area, you start to notice by 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, we might get some of these discrete cells that pop up. It'll be kind of a narrow window for that to happen, but mostly Wednesday night across portions of West Alabama is where it'll be most favorable. Anything that forms, south of the warm front, but east of the cold front. That is where we'll be looking for that best window for any severe storms. Here's Wednesday at 9 p.m. That is almost certainly discrete cells that the Futurecast is trying to show us. So those will pack the most tornado potential. And also you'll have a little bit of a chance for some spin-up tornadoes along the cold front itself. But there's, without a doubt, enough shear and enough instability for any storm past 4 o'clock in the afternoon to potentially turn tornadic. So that's why we're mostly concerned with this setup that we have here. Here's the tornado likelihood. What this is basically showing us is where the best combination of lift and shear and instability is, all the necessary ingredients you need for tornadoes to form. And you get a little bit of returns there early in the day, but again, like I mentioned, anything that forms north of that warm front is not likely to produce tornadoes. What it's showing us here is just that good mixture of lift and instability in the atmosphere. But watch what happens by 6, 7 o'clock. Down there to the southwest over towards Greene County, you get a lot of really high returns south of that warm front and Wednesday night. And where those cells start to pop up, especially, you see that one there in southern Fayette, northern Tuscaloosa County, that's probably not exactly where it's going to form, but what it's telling us is that environment is pretty favorable for this kind of setup to happen. And that continues into late Wednesday night and early Thursday morning. That best favorability is most likely going to be across portions of West Alabama late Wednesday night. So let's, I don't want to discount this either. It's going to be a ton of rain for the next 3 days as well, on the order of around 2.5 to 3.5 inches across most of central Alabama. So not especially concerned about flash flooding, but it's still a possibility with rainfall totals this high. You probably hear the rain coming down above me here at the station. Station's on top of Red Mountain here in Birmingham, and whenever it starts to rain, you hear it almost immediately here. So, yep, another round of storms passing through Birmingham right now. Okay, so that is the latest. Here's a breakdown of the threats. I'll pause for a minute and try to answer any questions that may be in the comment section. Looks like people are just chiming in where they're watching from. So I'm glad to see that it's mostly people who are actually in central Alabama, because oftentimes when you do these Facebook Lives, you get people tuning in from all over. Sometimes I've done these and I'll get comments that say, hey, from Cleveland, Ohio, or hey, from Eugene, Oregon, or just kind of random places like that. But looks like it's all people in the southeast tonight. Davina Wall watching from Steele. Hello, Davina. Patsy May watching from Guin in Marion County. That's good to see another Alabama resident watching tonight. Nita Hill's watching from Tuscaloosa. That's good. Thanks for watching, Nita. Okay, I want to mention this. In this latest update in the CBS 42 app, we have the higher ups at the station, I should say, the web team. The web team has decided to combine the news and weather apps. So now it's all in one package. And I really think that's the right move, because this kind of helps to simplify everything. So now when you go into the latest update for the CBS 42 app, the forecast will be there as well. In this newest update, you'll go to the bottom of the page on your smartphone, and there will be a weather tab. And as soon as you click that, the latest forecast will auto play on the news app. So Highly recommend you do that leading up to Wednesday. And there's a way to turn on weather alerts in the news app as well. Highly recommend you do that as well. Because as soon as you click that weather tab, that latest forecast will pop up immediately. So definitely recommend that you do that leading up to Wednesday. Also, if you don't have your NOAA weather radio charged, recommend you do that as well. Especially considering this will be a night event. We saw, I'm trying to remember, I don't remember who specifically it was, but I saw a photo on Twitter during the Fultondale tornado that we had back in January that somebody tweeted out, literally a giant piece of wood, maybe 10 feet long, that went right through the wall of somebody's house. It was in somebody's bedroom during the Fultondale tornado. And the person who posted that photo said that the NOAA weather radio is what woke them up and told them to get to shelter before that Fultondale tornado hit. So there is no doubt that weather radios help save lives, and I'm really thankful that that gentleman up there in Fultondale did that. I wish I could show you a picture of that, but it went pretty viral on Twitter. It was literally a giant piece of a tree that the tornado blew right through his bedroom wall, and he was thankful enough, or he was, precocious enough to actually seek shelter before that piece of wood came flying through that wall. So NOAA weather radio, if you have it, make sure it's programmed properly and charged before you go to bed Wednesday night. And of course, you got to know where your safe spot is. So not every home in Alabama has a basement. I had this, it was the same thing when I worked in Mississippi. Sometimes in some parts of the state, the water tables are really high and not every home has a basement. There were basically no homes that had basements in Mississippi. And I'm pretty sure it's the same case in Alabama. Not a lot of homes have basements. But if you do, I would definitely recommend going to a basement in the event of a tornado warning being issued. And if you don't have a basement, I would totally recommend you go to an interior room away from doors and windows. Oftentimes that's a closet or a bathroom. Just the key idea is to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Also, this is really important for folks in mobile homes. You got to know where your storm shelter is. And you can't, number one, if you have a storm shelter near you, know where it is. And if you happen to be under a tornado watch Wednesday, that's when you need to go to that storm shelter. I would not recommend trying to get to a storm shelter when a warning is issued because, not to be grim, but by the time the warning is issued, it's already too late to kind of leave your mobile home in a tornado. So if a watch is issued, if you're in a mobile home, that is when you need to go to a storm shelter. Don't do it when there's a warning, because by then you're pretty much stuck and you can't, you definitely don't want to be driving in the middle of a warning for sure. So that's one little piece of advice I will give as well. That's pretty much it for now. Obviously, we'll continue to keep you posted on how the forecast changes. Again, I'll just show you this couple more graphics one more time. Let's talk about this little graphic, the tornado likelihood graphic. So Wednesday, starting around 4 or 5 p.m. Wednesday, that is mostly when we'll kind of be keeping an eye on any discrete cells popping up. Anything we see late Wednesday morning and early Wednesday afternoon, yes, they could turn severe. Yes, they could produce damaging winds and hail, but that, again, it's mostly going to be everything that forms south of that warm front Wednesday night that could potentially turn tornadic. Especially you see right there those shades of purple showing up there towards Greene and Hale counties. I hope I'm not in the way of the shot there, but yeah, mostly Wednesday night across West Alabama is where that best chance for any discrete supercells could be. So it's really important. You got to know where your tornado shelter is leading up to that. I will go through one last skim of the comment section, see if you guys have any further questions, and if not, I'll get signed off, and I'll have another look at the forecast tonight at 10 on CBS 42. So let's see here. Let's see. Sandra Cargile watching from Gardendale. Again, thankful it's people from Alabama watching. Ryan Ellis watching from Trussville. Thank you, sir, for watching. I retweeted a photo earlier today of somebody who is a tree right next to the house that got struck by lightning, and it's kind of crazy just how powerful lightning is. I mean, that in that photo, it looked like the tree just completely blew apart. So even though it's not a severe weather day, you can still have pretty big lightning strikes that can do a big number on our trees. Let's see here. Karen Hale watching from Georgia. This still applies to you. Any of those leftover storms could still be pretty vigorous Thursday morning if you're in Georgia. Beverly Scott says, hello, everyone. All right, so that should about do it. I think that wraps it up here for me. Again, if you have any questions, just always feel free to email me, ghardy@cbs42.com, or you can message me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter, GriffinHardyWX. And all in all, just stay weather aware for the next few days. We don't have to worry about severe storms tomorrow or tonight, but Wednesday. Wednesday is when you need to have your guard up. That about does it for me. Okay, so again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the CBS 42 News at 10. Take care, everybody.